There is no greater value than to know that your kids have taken what you've tried to impart it and actually taking it further. Let's hit the red pin. There it is. In the hole.
When we got married and we started saying, okay, what's the word say about just living life? And so we would meditate on that and talk about that and say, okay, wow, we want to store up treasures in heaven. What's that look like? He provides for us, but they're not ours to own.
If we as a family don't love Jesus, it doesn't matter what we do. So we taught our kids to spend time with Jesus, and as a family we had family devotions. And then honestly, when it came to the whole financial thing, that's just a part of following Jesus. It was never a commitment to be radical, quote unquote, financially. It was, let's obey Jesus, and wherever he takes us, it's fine. And so what we tried to instill in them is there's always enough when we are givers, when we live simply, work diligently, and give generously. So how that would play out was we tithe and we give consistently to these missionaries. We pay all of our bills, and then beyond that, we're going to just give anything else away. So we kind of laid aside the whole savings deal to invest in the kingdom and other people, and just let God do what he will with it. And the interesting thing is we kind of got dependent on God's providing above and beyond. All the kids go back and still talk about this opportunity. It was in 2005, and we said, let's go to Haiti. We had some friends up in the northern side of the island, and so we packed everybody up. For us, we ended up, all the kids prayed, worked hard to get everything they had, and we were short, I don't know, $3,000 or $4,000. And so it got down to it, and I said, okay, we had two cars. We had a van and I had a truck. And so I said, well, kids, you know, if God's told us to go, then there just comes a place where we got to go for it. And so I said, I'm gonna sell my truck. So we sold the truck, and it provided everything that we needed to go. In an evangelical mindset, being a good steward is I set up my budget, I set up my savings, I set up my retirement, I'm wise in my investments, therefore I'm always have enough and an abundance. When we looked at the scriptures, just straight up without any commentary, we found that stewardship is emphasized maybe in a couple of the passages related to money, but the majority of them are give everything away. This giving generously thing is much more the bigger piece to the equation, at least when we read the scriptures, than not.
I mean, we just felt early on that for our personal life, we were to live debt-free. And so therefore, if there wasn't provision, we had to pray for it. You know, Jim would say, okay, God provide our needs, our wants, we had to pray.
So one of the things that we find out through the years is how do we keep kind of tradition and the old stories going?
We decided early on, though, if something didn't get provided for, we're not going to blame God or anybody else. We're willing to live with the consequences of radical giving. So Laura asked the question, rightfully so, what are the kids, is this going to be a disappointment to them? You know, that we made these choices, are they going to see that as a good thing even as they're older now? So we took a day away with our kids and we said, we tried to raise you this way, give us some feedback.
Whatever you do by faith, we don't know the outcome, we just do it. And I think that was a hit moment for me when we had that discussion was, we didn't know what this was going to look like. I didn't know if our kids would turn around and go, we're so bitter. We just had no idea what they were going to say.
They said, we feel like the most proud kids in the world to tell the story of God's work in our lives. And we don't want you to do anything other than believe with us for provision. And they don't regret the sacrifice. They find it as that unique piece of who they are.